Other questions?
Could I ask you a hard one to start with?
Yeah.
The case of a British citizen who
Yep.
allegedly killed an American
Yep.
on Phuket
Yeah.
and was apprehended in Britain
Yeah.
is creating quite a deal of interest here.
Yeah.
I realise you can't explain in detail without infringing on the rights of an individual, but
Sure.
can you tell us to someone being returned from Britain to Thailand to face what could be a capital charge?
Right. Well, let me say what's happening on that. That Mr. Oldhouse has been arrested. He's now held on remand in custody in the UK. And now there are two things that need to happen. Obviously, the respective police authorities are in close touch. And it requires a judicial decision to decide whether or not to extradite. And obviously if it's a matter of the courts, then I can't comment on that. But certainly the arrest has happened and there's good cooperation between the authorities. How the courts decide, well, I can't speculate.
In theory, though, is there any reason why he couldn't be returned?
No, I can't speculate. You were trying to... No, I can't. I mean, that is a court decision.
Just a clarification, you
Yeah.
said that New Oldhouse has been taken into custody.
Yeah.
That was certainly true when he was taken into custody at Heathrow Airport, but he was confirmed last week by the Thai counterparts looking for seeking an extradition.
Yeah.
That Lee Oldhouse was due for release from Woburn Scrubs prison Friday last week.
Right. And my understanding is he's still in custody.
Still in custody today, this month.
That's my understanding. I'm here in Phuket rather than in the UK. But that's my understanding. But I can't say not been released 1 minute ago. But as I spoke to somebody this morning, that was the situation. But it depends. As you say, he's got his rights. He's got a right of defence, and he put his case, and the evidence has to be considered. So I can't speculate on how that process is going to work out. All I can say is there's very good cooperation between the two authorities. We have here in Thailand a police liaison officer from our serious crime agency who's stationed in Bangkok, whose job it is to ensure that criminals do not use Thailand as a base. So we're trying to crack down on paedophiles who may be attempting to evade British justice by coming to Thailand, and indeed in the other direction. So that's his job, is to keep those links and to share information with you guys. Yeah, it's been around for 3 years actually. Fairly low profile because we don't advertise criminals for 3 years, but he's working behind the scenes.
Yeah, I asked because about 4 years ago, this Lee Oldhouse case is not when we had a Michael Andrew Taylor, who evaded justice and got the UK and laughed on officially reported living happily in homes.
Right. Well, that's for the Thai authorities to decide whether they want to proceed with extradition. An extradition treaty in force, but they have to provide the evidence that he has committed a crime and persuade the court.
When you say the court, would you have to clarify which judicial body needs to make this decision, or is it
No, I
political?
can't clarify that. I mean, there is a whole process around that, so which I can't say. I'm the expert, but the police have to prepare the case, our authorities have to send it to the UK, the court has to consider it, and then the decision is for the judge to extradite.
Are you aware of cases where extradition to Thailand from Britain has happened?
Yes, I think there are some. That's great.
Are you aware of any offensive staff or with so these serious crimes officers?
Serious Crime Agency, SOCA, actually, funny enough, CSOC, Serious Crime Agency.
SOCA. Are they assisting the Thai authorities in any way, or do they assist them?
Well, they're assisting the Thai authorities in trying to catch criminals, be they British or Thai.
I mean, it is a particular case.
I mean, that's obviously the person who would be involved. I'm not saying that's his job is for this case, and he's not come out here because he's been here for some time. But he's a channel of communication. So if the Thai authorities have got a case, then he provides the link between the Thai authorities and the UK.
Are you able to confirm that an application for extradition has gone to you UK?
I can't say more than this, actually. I'm trying to be as helpful to you as I can. I cannot interfere in a judicial proceedings, and nor can I forecast how it's going to come out. So I think we better move on. We've had a good go on that. Okay.
The move to have expats resident abroad to start paying income tax earn the board.
Right.
Will the embassy be taking any steps in for local expats out here? Because it can be very convoluted trying to have this subject to British people.
Yeah, I don't think we will actually, to be honest. I mean, obviously, if people ask us for information or contact, we will certainly help. But as you say, it's a pretty complicated area. I think the best advice would be for people to take expert advice from tax experts on what their particular position is. And obviously, the Revenue Department are very happy to give advice on how much to pay. I think for everyone who has the responsibility of setting their own tax affairs, so we wouldn't get involved.
So you wouldn't have any details for the account for national insurance contributions or anything like that?
We wouldn't see ourselves as a channel for that. Okay, anything else?
Did you know that there's a census going on at the moment
I
this
did.
year? How does that tie in with your website, for example? Because I know that the British website has its own bank of people, residents who are logged on.
I think there's two different purposes. I think that the census, as I understand it, is a Thai census of everyone. What we are interested in is obviously getting British citizens, be they either visitors or residents, to register their details so that we can get in touch with them if we need to. And if they have an accident or something, and we need to tell the next of kin. If there are political events of the type we've had over the last few months, people get concerned. We often get calls from people in London, from the UK, saying, my son is in Thailand travelling around, I haven't been able to get hold of him, he's not answering the phone, can you get a message to him? Well, we can't. How can we possibly, if we've got no details? We know where they're staying, we can try to help. And it's a very good thing to do. It's always wise to register. You have to go onto the website to put your details in. And then the other advantage of it is once we've got those details, our travel advice, which we take a lot of trouble over actually, and if there are fast-moving events, as we've seen in April and May, we alter our travel advice sometimes several times a day. We email that out to the subscribers, so they don't have to keep looking at the website to check if it's changed. We will send it out proactively. So, for instance, if we know there's going to be a big demonstration in the Lumpini Park, or there's a big crowd at Phuket Airport, or whatever it may be, we can warn people, avoid that particular area, or there's some disruption at the airport, or the bomb's gone off here, or whatever it is. Hopefully, avoid Brits getting into trouble. I'm very pleased that in the events of March, April, May, when 91 people were reported killed and 2,000 injured, not a single Brit was amongst them. And I'd like to think that's because we gave us a trust, which is to err on the side of caution, obviously, and avoid trouble.
Do you see that kind of technological solution as being an eventual replacement for the kind of blanket travel alert that Thailand complained about in some countries?
Yeah.
The damage tourism.
I think it's very important to judge the travel advice correctly. I mean, our prime responsibility is to our own citizens. I am British ambassador. I'm representing Britain. I'm not representing Thailand. I love Thailand. I love Thai people. But I'm representing British interests, and safety and security of citizens has to be paramount. But also their convenience as well. They've got holidays booked and so on. To cause unnecessary upheaval, particularly if it's localized in Bangkok, the rest of Thailand is safe. We'll say that. We only had a blanket ban on the whole of Thailand for a matter of a few days. As soon as the situation clarified, then we lifted it. We were one of the first to lift the all of Thailand I'm going to say ban is not the right word. Advice. It was, we advise you not to travel. We advise you to avoid non-essential travel.
What about tourist security in Phuket? Specifically, there have been a number of cases, particularly of tourists drowning here.
Yeah.
Is there a concern among...
Yes, I raised that with the mayor last time I was here. I think, as I understand it, I haven't been to a particular beach, but there are signs there warning people not to swim. You can't expect the lifeguards around the clock, to be honest. You've got to, but there are warning signs, and I think there are signs in the hotels. So we take that very seriously, clearly.
I do know that the travel advisory company has pretty good paragraphs warning about drowning.
Right.
In Phuket.
Right.
When you mentioned just before that you email out warnings as and when needed, would you consider emailing out warnings regularly, annually, or regularly during the low season for Phuket?
Well, I think the travel advice is fairly expensive on several pages. What we see is changes to the level of advice, or particularly, as I say, there's a big demonstration going to happen at 4 o'clock this afternoon in Bangkok, or there's a big crowd around central Chiang Mai. You may find it, maybe disruptive going through there. We don't email out the whole advice. What we email out is the link saying, here's the key paragraph just changed, and the full, please click here for the full advice, and the whole thing will open up on the webpage. Okay?
Did you or do you take advice from Martin as honorary consul on the local situation in Phuket, for example, during that time in May, not to include Phuket in that overall Thailand advice?
Yeah, it's quite difficult, to be honest, when you have a situation in which there are large numbers of tanks and soldiers with heavy machine guns and grenades being fired in the capital city, a state of emergency declared in over half the country. Then to say, oh well, yes, quite safe to look at. Who knows what might have happened actually on the 19th of May. He was quite lucky in many ways. There were more people killed or injured. I believe that is the case. And because the state of emergency was so far-reaching, and the fact that almost all our citizens travel into Thailand via Bangkok, it made sense in that very short period of uncertainty to advise people not to travel to Thailand, because we're sure they could get out. If you come to Phuket, great, and then you finally get on the plane, the airport's closed. Well, who knows? I think you've got to actually err a little bit on the side of safety in that situation, which is quite as uncertain as it was.
Besides the issue of water safety, you mentioned what are the other meetings?
Well, I think there are concerns throughout Thailand about the level of crime and crime directed at tourists. I don't think it's unsafe here, and I feel much safer walking around Thailand than I do actually in parts of Europe. But clearly there are incidents of crime that take place, like pickpockets and various scams that are done, which I think we're well aware of, things like jet ski scams and motorcycle accidents are very common here, people not wearing helmets. It's a tendency for tourists to think, oh well, I'm on holiday, I don't need to wear a helmet, hire a motorbike and then get tragically injured in a way that they wouldn't take the risk in the UK.
The government here now holds quarterly meetings with honorary consuls and embassy representatives. Is that a positive move?
I think it is actually, yes. I mean, Martin's just been to one, I think. I think it's great to share information, make sure you've got all your contact numbers if anything goes wrong. And we talk a lot about, things like political upheaval and crime and so on, but we've had accidents like the tragic air crash that was here, the one to go accident that happened very shortly after I arrived in post 3 years ago. And there's a premium on having the right contacts. And we got very good cooperation from the Phuket authorities. I remember speaking to the governor, and I came down here and worked with Martin was one of the people helping, but Martin's predecessor.